What's up, my fellow book nerds? My name is Courtney, and welcome to What the Smut Are You Talking About podcast. On this week's episode, we will deep dive into Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. When reading this book, you can expect dual points of view, a possessive MMC, enemies to lovers, a very dark romance, and I wanted to go ahead and let you know that this book has some serious trigger warnings. A few are stalking, murder, sexual assault, child trafficking, child abduction, torture, and rape. For a full list of trigger warnings, please see the author's website or the front of the book. So this episode will mention very graphic topics and is not suitable for anyone under the age of 18. With all that being said, I am excited to introduce my co-host on today's episode. We have Megan joining us from Ohio. Megan reached out to me on Instagram wanting to come on to talk about Haunting Adeline. I instantly said yes and was able to get a recording scheduled pretty quickly due to the fact that I recently read this book myself. When I started my Bookstagram, I saw this book all over the place. I did not think I would like it, knowing what little I did. But this book is just so well written. It hooked me very quickly. And afterwards, I entered what I'm calling my dark romance era. So I am excited to talk with Megan about the story. Hey, Megan. I'm so excited to finally talk to you in person. Thank you for taking the time to come on and talk books with me.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here and talk about one of my favorite books I've read in a really long time.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 31 years old. I'm from Ohio. I am a mom of 2 boys, 4 and 19 months, so young kids. I am also work in the special education field, so that's my Monday through Friday job, which I absolutely love. I have 3 dogs, so I'm hoping that they also don't just start randomly barking at some point while we're recording this. Right now they're being fine, but when they go off, it sounds like I have like a whole rescue upstairs.
Aww.
But I love animals. So we started off with 1 dog, and then we adopted 2 within 6 months of each other. So now we have 3 crazy dogs.
And 2 small kiddos.
So it's a lot. My house is a circus. So reading is my mental getaway. I love to just be able to read and escape for a little bit.
I feel that. My son, he is 3, and then my daughter is 18 months old. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about then. It is crazy. It's so crazy. And then I work with 5th and 6th graders. So I work with a little bit older, but it's a lot. I love it though. I love my crazy life.
I bet. How's the weather up there in Ohio right now?
It is absolutely freezing today. With the wind chill, it's like -9. So we're not leaving the house at all today. It's so cold. We got some snow, but nothing too crazy. So thankfully, I hate the cold and I hate the snow, so I don't know why I still live in Ohio. But I just can't leave.
I'm in the South, so we don't really know what snow is because it never comes. But we are actually supposed to get some snow showers tonight. So
oh man,
definitely going to the store after this to stock up because you never know.
Oh no, yeah, I still do that too. I'm like always stocking up. I'm like, anytime I see any like crazy weather, I'm like, oh, I have to get it. But then in Ohio, it either like happens or it doesn't. And anytime I like actually prepare, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and so that's why, same thing here, and that's why I want to be prepared because I don't want to deal with it trying to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, no, do not.
All right, so go ahead and tell us about this favorite book of yours.
Yeah, so I love Haunting Adeline. I took a break from reading for a while just with having 2 small kids. It can be hard. And when I first read Haunting Adeline, I actually listened to it through Audible. and I didn't know how I was going to like it because, it is smutty, the topics are dark, and I was like, how am I going to like physically hearing someone else say this? But I loved it. It was almost like I got lost and I thought I was in a movie while listening to it. So, Haunting Adeline is a dark romance that follows Adeline Riley, who is an author, and her shadow, Zade Meadows, who becomes obsessed with her in a chance encounter when he sees her at one of her book signings. And she lives in Seattle. She had just moved in to her family home that she inherited after her grandma passed away. And she slowly starts realizing some dark family secrets. And they start intertwining with her life. And I think that's so interesting. So there's like a little short spoiler-free summary.
Well, it's spoiler alert time. Me and Megan are going to deep dive into this story. So, this is your warning that if you haven't read this book and don't want it spoiled, I would recommend that you stop listening and come back afterwards. If not, you have been warned. So, this starts out introducing Adeline, who is also referred to as Addie in most of the books. So, I'm going to be lazy and just call her Addie moving forward.
Perfect.
And against her mother's wishes, Addie is moving into Parsons Manor, which is a Gothic-style Victorian home that was built by her great-grandparents. During the construction of the house, we find out that there was a rumored fire that killed 5 people and that the house is haunted. So let's talk a little bit about that because I feel like there could be more to that. With you being a fan, can you touch base on that? Like, do you
Yes. So
go
I
ahead?
absolutely love, sorry, I was like, oh, I absolutely love that the house is haunted. I'm also like a paranormal and horror fan. So I think that's why I also like love the book so much. It's because it has those like nods to that, and I really enjoy it. So the house is haunted. I believe HD has said that there's about 3 or 4 ghosts that are haunting Parsons Manor, and one is a darker entity, and then the other ones aren't nearly as dark. Which I think you can definitely pick up when certain entities in the book are around, because I think
Right.
you can know like when the mood is changing, the characters will say that like it feels darker, it feels heavy, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the book because I love haunted things. So
I feel the same way. So I'm hoping we see more of that in book 2 cuz like I feel like there could have been more. So like
I
I
wish she
or
would have gone. Yeah,
like I feel like I mean HD might have done that just to like help with the plot, but I feel like there was more of a reason why that
I
is.
definitely think so too. So I follow HD on Instagram, and I'm also in her like Facebook group.
Okay.
Which if anyone is a fan and has a Facebook, I don't know how many people still use Facebook, but
I still do.
I still do. I'm in my 30s. I still use Facebook. But if you want to, her Facebook group is HD Carlton Stalkers,
Oh, I
and
love it.
she's pretty active in there too. She posts a lot of like what she's working on. Everyone in that group is so awesome. They're always like discussing the books, and she's gone into like detail about who she believes when she was writing, like who the darker entity is. Which,
Okay.
if we're in the spoiler section, I guess I can go ahead and talk about that since we gave a
Yeah.
warning. So she said that in her mind, the darker entity was Frank, who we find out is Gigi's killer.
Yes.
So, I assumed that when reading it, there was nothing that like blatantly said it in the book, but she has said that that's who, in her mind, when she was writing that like darker entity, that's who it was in her mind. So I really enjoyed that, like finding that out, because as a reader, that's what I assumed.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have to go join that Facebook group.
Yeah, it's
So
so fun. You'll see me in it all the time. I'm always, and she talks about like her projects that she has coming up. She'll share little like snippets from them, which I love. I'm a really big HD Carlton fan. That's what actually got me back into reading was
Oh, nice.
the Cat and Mouse duet, and then I went on like a spiral of wanting to read everything that she has written. And
I love when
then,
that happens.
right, I was like, I just have to read everything because I just really enjoy her style of writing. And that's actually why I got a Kindle. I asked for a Kindle for Christmas because I wanted to make sure I could download and pre-order her new book that comes out in February. So that's the
I love
whole
it.
reason I got a Kindle was because of HD Carlton.
I love
So
it.
yeah,
I
so
I got a new Kindle for Christmas. My old one crapped out on me. So,
yeah.
it came with so many months of Kindle Unlimited for free.
Yeah.
And so that's how I actually got this book is because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what
"Okay, I'll try it."
yep, that's what I've been using because I the same thing happened when I got my Kindle, and I'm like, I'll just like say it now. I got my Kindle on Christmas, and I have read 17 books since having it.
Oh my
So
gosh, I love it.
I have just gone on like a spiral, and I am in my like dark romance era. I have been saying as well. So I'm like caught up in this dark romance era in this world. I love it. So
I am a fan. I'm currently reading on my Kindle is Carnage.
that's on my
Have you read that?
TBR. It's on my
Oh,
TBR. I just read The
okay.
Ritual. I just finished that last night.
Okay,
And
so
that's like in the same world, right?
yes. So,
Okay.
okay, funny story. So, I started reading The Ritual and it was really good. But I just have so much I have to read for this podcast, and I kind of like started reading it and then I stopped and I was like, okay, I'm going to come back to it. Well, then I had someone say they wanted to or come on and do Carnage, and I was like, okay, but in my head when I like read that, I read Caravel, and so I was like, oh, which is like completely not anywhere close to what Carnage is. One's
No.
a dark romance, one's like a young adult. And I was
Yes.
like, yeah, I've been wanting to read this Caravel book. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. That's something different that I haven't read in a while. So yeah. And then, so when I look back to go download Carnage, I was like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. But I was like, oh, well, I'm here. Let's do this. And so as I started reading it, I was like, this sounds a lot like Ritual. So then I had to like look back and forth and saw that it was like part of that world. So,
Yeah.
there, it's a lot. So I'm
It's
definitely
Carnage
like,
a lot.
it is a lot. Like, it's like I thought The Ritual, which I'm only about halfway through Ritual,
Hmm.
it's like very, very more like graphic, and it's
Okay.
got a lot of messed up stuff in it. So, without spoiling anything.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so definitely read it. So
Yeah, it's
I'd
on
like
my
to know your thoughts on it.
TBR. Yeah, I'm currently reading the book I currently started today is the only H.G. Carlton book that I haven't read yet. It's Shallow River. And I was putting it off because Shallow River, the trigger warnings for that are it's domestic violence, and I'm actually a domestic violence survivor. So I was like putting it off for a while because I was like, I don't know if I can like handle it with my triggers, but everything else I
Right.
read is so dark that I was like, I think it's time. Let me just rip the band-aid off and read it. And in her Facebook group, a lot of other survivors said it was like very healing for them to read
Oh,
it.
well, that's good.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's good. And I was like, I had just gotten done with the ritual and I was like, I don't think anything can really, like, I read so much like dark stuff that like I'll be fine. And so far
Right?
I'm fine. Like that's the thing. I'm like so much in my dark romance era that like my friends are like, "What are you reading?" or suggest a book to me, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what to say
I
right
love it.
now." What?
I love it.
Yes,
Well,
I did.
definitely give me any recommendations that you want because I read just about anything.
I definitely tell people I just read the Never After series, which they're like I wouldn't really say they're dark, but they're like smutty and they have like some dark um
Components.
components in it, and that's really good. And they're pretty fast reads. They're kind of smaller books. So I've been telling everyone to read those because they're like reimagining of like fairy tales and
Oh,
stories.
wait, is that like Hooked?
Yes, Hooked and Crossed and
Okay.
Twisted. I loved all of those.
I just downloaded Hooked on
Oh,
Audible
it's
because it was
so
free.
good. Yes, it's so
so
good. It's so
so
good.
I'll eventually get to that.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
so good.
I have to have like little palate cleanser books in between to like break
Mm.
it up.
Yeah, I feel that. Those were my palate cleansers because of everything else I read. And I was like telling people because they're like, "Oh, don't you need a palate cleanser?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I just did the Never After series, and they're like, those are still like have some dark components and are smutty." I'm like, "Yeah, but they're nothing like what I normally gravitate towards."
Yes,
So I think
it's tame
fine.
compared.
It's tame compared, and that's my thing. I'm like, I never like because like when I really got into dark romance, I went like head first with Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. So I feel like it kind of just blurred my lines where I'm like that's like the most and like that's what I started with. So everything else kind of seems like tame. But I would say like the ritual and stuff is up there with Haunting Adeline and that. So
Yes. All right, so we have Addie, who is an author and is currently trying to work on her next book while trying to promote her newest release. She mentioned several times how she can have an overactive imagination, which can make for some scary situations in real life, but it's great for her career. So we come to a scene where she is doing a signing at a local bookstore. She does not like the attention, so she's trying to get through this as quick as possible. She is with a fan when she feels someone staring. She tries to ignore it, but the feeling intensifies. And she's trying to rush through. She keeps glancing around, trying to find the source of this uneasy feeling. It's then when the crowd breaks a little that she sees a man standing at the very back of the store. The first thing she notices is his eyes. One is so dark, and the other is ice blue, it almost appears white. Then she notices the scar through the discolored eye. A throat clears, and then she pays attention to the fan in front of her. When she looks back up to find the man, he is gone. Okay, and so she also has her best friend, Daya. And later, after the book signing, Daya is telling Addie that she needs to get laid. And so she steals her phone and she sends a dirty text to Addie's ex, Grayson. And he replies that he'll be over at 8. So can we just go ahead and say that Grayson is a grade A douche canoe?
oh gosh, I could
I
not stand him.
I
I
know. I
I
know.
couldn't
He
stand
was
him.
awful.
He's so awful.
And it's like, you meet Archie later, which is another like potential hookup for her.
Mhm.
Um but like even though like Archie is like a terrible person, he's still better than Grayson. I liked him
Grayson
more
is
than Grayson.
yeah, and I'm like, that's sad. When you're like, "Oh gosh, even he beats out Grayson." Grayson is gross. I could not stand
Yes.
him, and I'm glad we didn't
I
have to deal with him a lot in the book because
I
I don't think I
know.
could have.
So even though Addie thinks this is a bad idea, she decides to go along with it because she could blow off some steam. So Grayson, the douche canoe, shows up, and they start making out. They have a very heavy makeout session in the hall, but Addie, she just isn't feeling it. Grayson suggests they go to the bedroom, but before they move, Grayson freezes because there's a loud banging at the door. He asks Addie if she's expecting anyone, and she says no. Then he says, well, why don't you go check? Like, what an asshole.
I would have been like, no, you can check when you leave because you're not going to have me go open this scary, loud banging noise.
Yes.
Not happening. Nope, you can check as you leave.
So she does go out and check, and she goes to the porch and leans over the rail, and she doesn't find anyone, but she has that feeling that someone is watching her again. So back inside, Grayson starts stripping his clothes down the hallway, following Addie. And to me, like, I don't think it says this, but I feel like she's like going upstairs to like look out the window or something.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like she wanted to get like right back in it because she really didn't want to be there to begin with.
Yes. So he's like naked at this point, and so she ends up yelling at him like, "Read the room, buddy. I'm not in the mood." And then he gets mad and punches the hole in the drywall, and then he leaves with only one sock on, I believe.
Yeah, it was one sock because I thought that was hilarious.
So he punches the hole, and so when she goes to inspect the damage, that's when she finds the safe that's behind her Gigi's picture. So Gigi is the great grandmother. So she removes this picture and finds a safe that she breaks into. And there's where she finds her Gigi's journals. And so she starts reading the journals to find out that Gigi had a stalker back in the day.
Yeah, I absolutely loved her finding Gigi's journals and learning about her stalker because I felt like it added such like a suspenseful element to the story of being like, okay, is this like some family curse where they have stalkers? And like, I just thought it was really interesting.
So we mentioned before that this was dual point of view, which I love, but it does go back and forth sometimes, and the story overlaps each viewpoint. So it switches to Zaddy Zane point of view. He is torturing someone for information. He gets what little info from the man that he can, and then he kills him. So we find out that the man he killed is a child rapist and that he is part of a child sex trafficking ring. I instantly get Dexter vibes from Zane, a goodish guy that takes care of the bad guys.
No, I definitely get that. And definitely in my eyes, I think Zade is morally gray. I know some people want to argue that. But to me, I think he's morally gray because yes, he's not doing good things, but he's not doing it's bad people that he's going after. So in my eyes, I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. He's fine. So I love that, and I also think that like I know this book can be kind of controversial, and I feel like people either love it or hate it, and I definitely think that some of the fun in reading is, especially like when you're reading fiction, is you're putting your brain in some place that like you wouldn't normally be. And like stuff that you like reading about is not stuff necessarily that you would be okay with in real life. And that's how I look at books.
100% agree with you because I read some really messed up stuff, and
right, I do too. And I'm like, you have to like you have to take out the real world when you're reading these books. And I think that's like what I always say to people who are like, oh, those books are so messed up. Oh, I don't know how you could like them. I'm like, they're fiction. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
if this was happening in real life, would I be okay with it? No. But that's
Right?
part of the fun in reading is I'm like in a different world. I'm in a different universe while reading this stuff.
Yes.
So like I always try to remind people of that, especially like the online debate about these books can get pretty crazy. And
I agree.
I'm like, it is not real. This is not real. It's a fiction book. It's a novel. Like, you're supposed to like root for someone that like if my best friend was dating, I would be like, oh, I think we need to go get you help. But in the book, I'm like, yes, Addie, get it, Addie. You know, it's different.
Yeah,
But
and Addie, like, she struggles with it. Like, she definitely has a lot of inner monologue, where she thinks she shouldn't be attracted to him. So
yeah,
she surprises me a lot in this book.
yeah,
But
and I really like that too. That was something I had in my notes was like I really like the like her trying to figure out her own moral compass of like, is it okay? Like, can I morally accept this? And I
right,
think that's really interesting. And I really liked reading her like back and forth struggle, if you will, about
yeah,
her feelings.
yes, yes. So a little bit more about Zaid. We also find out that he started his own, like, almost like underground type business. And everyone refers to him as Z. And he hired people with specific quote unquote talents, and placed them all over the U.S. to help in child trafficking.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that. I love learning about some of the people that he has employed. Um, I
yes,
really like that when we get introduced to those characters. I think,
yeah. And I like how they tied Daya into it, like, because we find out
yeah,
later that Daya is a hacker and she actually works for Z. So that was a cool little twist.
yeah, I really enjoyed that because it was like, I feel like destined for Zayd and Addie in a way because it was like, if I get into it, like an invisible string
Yeah.
theory. So I really loved that.
So, after the bookstore, and the banging on the door thing with the douche canoe, some crazy stuff starts happening. Addie starts finding roses and empty whiskey glasses, letting her know, someone's been there. She ends up getting, locks replaced and cameras installed, but he is able to still bypass all that because it just so happens that it's products from his own company. And then he finally starts to communicate with her. At first, it's by notes, and then text messages from an unknown number. Then her mother attempts again to get her to move out, alluring that the house is haunted. So, we've already talked about the ghosts. So her mother tells her, there's ghosts there from the construction workers. And then she also lets it slip that Addie's Gigi was actually murdered in the house. And not only in the house, she's murdered in the bedroom that is now Addie's.
Yeah, I thought that was like, I love it because it's creepy and it's suspenseful because you're like, okay, well, like, Addie starts wondering, like, am I going to end up like my Gigi? Like, she had this stalker and that she starts learning about in the journals, and then she finds out that she was murdered. And it's so, I just thought it was like so interesting of like a little twist to be like, okay, well, like, how is this going to end for her? And I also just want to point out that I hate her mom so much.
Oh, yes. I'm right there with you.
And I could not stand her. And I would have been just like Addie and been like, no, I'm staying here. I don't really care what the fuck you have to say. You can't make me leave. So,
One thing about Daya's and Addie's relationship is they love to drink and day drink. So at one point, Daya ends up taking Addie to this club. So they go and have a great time, and a guy ends up coming to dance with them. And I mentioned him earlier, Archie. He turns out to be a very bad guy. He's like a cocaine dealer, and which she didn't know this like beforehand. But she starts dancing with him, hanging out with his friends, and this is actually, I think, when Zane first texts her, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
yes, it's one of I believe it's the first time because he sends a message saying like something about like if any man puts his hands on you, um, that he's
the
gonna take care of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was something along the lines of, "Any man touches you, I'll cut their hands off," or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So our little dearest Addie thinks that he is bluffing. So she decides to take Archie home to see if Zade will show his cards or not. So she has a sunroom, which is basically a room made out of windows. And so she's about to start like hooking up with Archie when banking on the door starts again. And so this is kind of where Archie shows his true colors because he just immediately draws a gun and takes off out the door.
That scene was crazy because
Yes.
the first time the banging happens, you're like, the house is like haunted, and you're like, when it's with douche canoe, and you're like, okay, is this the spirits trying to stop it? Is it Zade? And then definitely this time, you're like, okay, Zade's outside. Like
Yeah.
he's outside. Yep, this is what's happening.
Yeah. So, and then she gets a little present from him the following day. I can't remember. Is it his head or his hands
It's
that
his
show up?
hands. It's his
Okay.
hands.
Yeah.
It sure is his hands. He was not bluffing at all.
Nope. Nope. Um, and so let's talk about their first, I guess we could call it romantic encounter. We mentioned earlier how Addie struggles with her morals and she doesn't want him, but she does get turned on by the fact that he stalks her. And they have a very intense scene on the couch that involves a knife and a gun.
Yeah. This scene can be pretty controversial again online, where people are like, "Oh, yes, like I love this scene," and then other people are like, "No, it was definitely like non-consensual." And that's
Yeah.
some people's like breaking point with the book or with Zade as a character in the middle about it. So the first time I've listened, like I said, the first time I listened to the books. And then when I got my Kindle, I reread Haunting on my Kindle to just see like if it was any different with me like physically reading it versus listening. And with that scene, I'm just like still really divisive on it. Like I am just like in the middle. I'm like, I think it's really hot, but I can also see where people are like, no, that's so fucked up. Like she didn't want it at all. And I don't know, I'm torn.
Yeah.
I think the scene is like, I just think Zade's really hot. And I think
Right?
like the dominance aspect of it I do enjoy, but I can definitely see where people could be like, no, this is not okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I feel the same way. It's definitely unconsensual, but
yeah.
she But there's points even in that one scene where she's struggling with it because she you can tell she's interested. But again,
Yeah.
no means no, but I'm not, and by no means am I defending him at all,
No.
because rape is awful. And um but again, this is a very fictional story. This is not based on real events. Um but yeah, so it is. In any book or movie that I watch, any rape scene, it's just really hard for me to, like, and not enjoy, but, like, I can't, like, watch it. Like, I have to, like, if it's a movie, I usually end up fast forwarding it, or I'll go into another
Yeah.
room. Um, but because it's just too much. But it's the fact that Addie is still on that borderline.
Which I
So I
think
did.
is really important to, like,
Yes.
remember, and I think it's, like, which is what, like, as you said, like, it is a fictional story. This is not based on true events, and I think you have to remember that going into these books. It is dark. There is a long list of trigger warnings. And,
Yes.
again, like, something that I'm not defending what he did, because it was messed up, because she definitely said no, and she was definitely still, like, on the border of, like, do I want him or do I not?
Yeah.
Um, so that's the one scene in the book where I, like, the one, I think, part in the book where I'm really, like, torn.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably one of the scenes that, like, I don't like. Like, it is, like, the smut aspect of it is, it's hot, but it would be hotter if she was consenting, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. So this book definitely has multiple things going on. You have Zade trying to stop this particular sex trafficking ring that performs a certain ritual on children. And then you have Addie, who is trying to solve her great grandmother's murder. And we talked about Daya, how she works for Z, and I feel like there's more to Daya. Like, I'm really hoping we get more about her eventually.
I would love
Um,
that. I really
because
liked her as a character. Even if it's like a
yes,
novella or something, I really enjoyed her as a character.
yes, I still definitely think there's more than meets the eye with her.
Mhm.
So, I would definitely love to see more of her.
For
Um,
sure.
and And then Zayd and Addie's world is about to collide even further because the main suspect that Zayd is tied um, to gain access through these rituals that's going on, is also the grandson to the cop that's investigating her Gigi's murder. And then she finds out that he was friends with her Nana, which is Gigi's daughter.
Yes.
Um, So she gets tangled up in this mess with Zayd, and they only find out later that Addie and Deo was actually, like, targeted for trafficking. Um, so Zayd almost, is relieved almost, because he thought being obsessed with her was going to put her into further danger, but he's actually, in a way, saving her because she is targeted.
Yes.
Um, And with the help of Zayd and Daya, Addie ends up solving or figuring out her Gigi's murder. And at the end of the book, Zayd is working with his team to bust this ritual up, and they're somewhat successful. But it definitely ends on a cliffhanger with Addie getting kidnapped. So I am, like,
Yeah.
dying to
Yeah.
read Hunting Adeline, because I just got to know what happens. So I
Yeah.
think,
It
like,
definitely leaves off on a big cliffhanger.
yeah. So I'm gonna get through this book, the I told you I was reading Carnage. So
Yeah.
once I get through that, I'm gonna make the time to at minimum listen to Hunting Adeline, because I just got to know what happens next.
It's really good. I definitely tell people I think Hunting is a lot darker. So, that
Fun.
one was a little bit more, yeah, that one was a little bit harder of a, well, I listened to that one. I haven't physically read that one. That was definitely a harder listen for me than Haunting was. So I tell everyone like that I recommend these books to is that um Hunting is a lot darker. A lot darker.
Well, that's good to
But
know.
it's still just as good. Yeah, I tell everyone, I'm like, it's definitely darker. So just be prepared. But it's still really good and definitely has more of, we haven't talked about her yet, but I think one of my favorite characters in the book is Sibby or Sybil that works at Satan's Affair. And we got a lot more of Sibby eventually, so I really love her. The whole
Yes.
um, Satan's Affair um, chapters, I think it's like 2 chapters that talk about Satan's Affair, are like probably my favorite in the whole book. So some of my
Yes, yeah.
favorite.
So that's like the carnival, right?
Yes, that's like the
Yeah.
haunted carnival that has like, it's like carnival and then they have the haunted houses. That's
Oh, the
probably, yes,
House
with
of
the
Mirrors.
in the House of Mirrors. Man, I love that whole scene. I
I
love it.
know.
I wrote like a whole like paragraph of notes about that because it's like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Because
let's go ahead and talk about Satan's Affair.
yeah, so and also just for anyone listening who doesn't know, because I know we were talking about it, there is a novella called Satan's Affair that is Sibby's story. That's like a little like taste of her story that goes more into her background, and it's really good. I tell everyone to read it. It's a fun little quick read. It's so good. But Satan's Affair is a traveling haunted carnival, and Dea and Addie go every year. They say that like they love it. Addie's mom is like, I don't know. I think she's like has an attitude that they go to it because they're like, in their 20s and still
Yeah,
going.
she has an attitude about everything though, so.
Yeah, that's great point. She does have an attitude about everything. So Dea and Addie go and they run in to the guy that Zade is like currently like tracking, who he's after, who's a part of this child sex ring, and runs in to them there. And they also see a girl who's dressed up like a broken doll, and they say like they see her and she's like sitting and eating, like I can't remember what she's eating. Is it like a turkey leg? It's something like,
It's
and there's
something
like,
weird.
it's something like weird, and they like, Addie's like, oh, okay, that's like odd. Like she's just like sitting there like totally enjoy it, but she looks like a little broken doll. And she works in the like, I think it's like Annie's Playhouse. That house where it's like a little doll house, and that's like where she works. And they go through, and shortly after you find out that the guys that Zade is like tracking go in after her, but then he goes in, and Sibby thinks that Zade is like the bad one that's like trying to do something bad to Dea and Addie, and he like gets taken into this like verbal argument because she's like not letting him go, and he's like, you're pissing me off, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna call my henchmen, and he's like, you're fucking crazy, and she like gets really mad that he calls her crazy, and but they end up like saying they're gonna like work together to like get the real bad people away.
Yes.
And I just like love Sibby's character. She's just so funny,
She really
and
is. And she's
she's
crazy.
she's
She's
crazy, and
legit
she's
crazy.
yeah, and she just like says things, and he calls her like a demon slayer because they
Yes.
trap the 3 guys, and she holds them hostage in the playhouse, which she then says that like this is something that she does, that she can smell like evil on people and they smell like rotten things, but like Addie smells like flowers. I can't remember what flowers she says, and like Zade's like, okay, you're fucking crazy. And so I loved like learning about her because I thought that like she was just like funny, crazy, and like them working together. It like just reminded me of like a big brother and like a little sister because of like how they were arguing. And she was
Yeah.
like getting so mad at Zade, and he was like so annoyed with her. And he was supposed to meet her at midnight, but he got a little held up at the House of Mirrors, and that is probably one of my favorite scenes because I think Addie, even in that scene, talks about dealing with her moral compass, and like
Mm-hmm.
she knows that like she wants him, but
Yeah.
she is like still dealing, but then she ends up giving herself to him because he's like, oh, we'll play a game. Like, if I catch you, then I get to fuck you. And she's like, oh, you won't. But they do. And I think I really love that scene. And I'm trying to get it pulled up on my Kindle. One of my favorite like Zayd quotes is in that little passage where like I just like thought it was so good. Because when they are looking at each other in the mirrors after he like has her, he says, what you're seeing now is what I see every day. No matter how far I run, how hard I try to escape you, you're everywhere I go. You're everything I see. Loving you is like being trapped in a house of mirrors, little mouse, and I've never felt so at home while being so lost inside of you. And I just remember like listening to that and just being like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And I was like, oh, I love it so much.
That
But
whole that whole scene. Ugh.
it's so good. And I am trying to see one thing I absolutely love about Kindle is you can like highlight parts. So like I do that. But like in that whole scene, Addie talks about like she even says like, how do I toss away the moral compass that's been directing my entire life? Like she's just like really grappling with it, but then she ends up, they end up having sex, and I felt like that was like a turning point, obviously, for Addie, where she
Yeah,
was
for
like,
sure.
yeah, like she still struggles with it throughout the book, but like she definitely has like thrown that part away of like, yeah, it might be wrong, but she still wants him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she has a lot of growth in this book. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
love to see that because at first, she's very kind of just like soft spoken, timid, but she's also like her worst enemy too because she there's even a part where she like quotes how if she was in a horror movie, she would be the first to die because she just is her own worst
She would like,
enemy.
yeah. No, and I love that because I think I relate to Addie in that sense. Where like if I was in a horror movie, I would not be the final girl. I would be the one that dies first because I would be the person that's like, did you hear that noise? We should probably go over there and see
Right?
what it is. And I would just die so
I am quite
fast.
the opposite in that aspect. I'm like, you go check that out and you let me know, okay?
Yeah. I like just like I love haunted stuff. Like I used to go, and Ohio's pretty cool because we have a bunch of like haunted locations. So I've done like ghost hunts. I've done like overnight stays in like a haunted prison that's here in Ohio. And I just like love that kind of stuff. But I probably would be like the one that like goes investigate something and just like dies. I'm done. Um, but I think that whole like scene is just like really good. And it's probably one of my favorite parts of the book. I absolutely love it.
Definitely one of my favorite scenes. All right, so let's play a little game of Fuck, Marry, Kill. So first up, we have Zade, Jay, and Archie.
Okay, well, obviously, I'm gonna have to do what Zaddy Zade did and kill Archie. He's gotta go. Gotta go. And then I would, my way of thinking about it is I would fuck Jay and I would marry Zade because if I'm married to him, I also get to fuck him. Is that cheating? Is that cheating? That's the way my
No, no,
brain
that is not
works.
cheating.
So that's what I would say out of those.
So for me, I would fuck Zade, marry Jay, and kill Archie because Jay, he's
Okay.
like the lovable character. So
Yeah. I really loved his character. Like when we got introduced to him, I was like, oh my gosh, he's adorable. Like I really enjoyed him.
so you're also a fan of Star Wars and Vampire Diaries. So I threw in
Yes.
some more. So we have Zayd, Anakin Skywalker, or Damon.
Okay. This one is gonna be so hard for me. So
Same
I
girl.
like I always joked I love Star Wars and last year like the highlight of maybe even one of my life, don't tell my children, was I got to meet Hayden Christensen who plays Anakin Skywalker.
Oh
I
my
met
gosh, I'm
him
so
at
jealous.
I met him at Comic Con. It was like my first time going to one. I actually drove to, well, I didn't drive. I convinced my dad to take me to Philadelphia so I could go to this because he was going to be there. And I was like, I just have to go. And so I got to meet him. I ended up meeting him like 3 times. But I always
Oh,
joke that
fun.
like my love for like morally gray or like villains started with Star Wars because
With
I
little Annie.
with little Annie, I was like obsessed with Anakin Skywalker. He was like my first like crush as a little girl. I like loved him. So I'm like everyone should have just been like prepared for this is what I was going to be like as an adult. Because
Right.
it was like Anakin Skywalker and then like I was a huge Phantom of the Opera fan. So like the Phantom. But with these ones it's so hard. So I think I don't even know how I'm going to pick, but I think that I would fuck Zade. I would marry Anakin, and I would have to kill Damon in this scenario. But I love him, and it's so hard. I'm like, this is like the hardest one, I think, for me.
I know, it is really hard. I did
One
not
of the
think about
hardest.
this. For me, I think I would fuck Zayd, marry Damon because I just love him so much, and then
Yeah.
I would have to kill Anakin. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, like I was really big into Comic Cons before children.
Yeah,
So I got to meet Ian Somerhalder. So that was a big one.
that's a
Also,
dream.
yes, I also got to meet I can't think of his real name, but the guy that plays Stefan.
Oh yeah,
I
Paul.
met him and then the guy that plays Enzo. So that was fun.
Oh, that's so cool. I want to do, I would die to meet some of the vampire diaries. I, um, would love it. The first time I did any type of like Comic Con was last year, and we took just, it was my dad, me, and my oldest, my 4-year-old, who was 3 at the time. And that was, an interesting experience. My dad and my 3-year-old ended up going back and just hanging out at the hotel because he was so overwhelmed by everything. And little
I
kids love
bet.
hotels. His favorite thing of the trip he kept talking about was the like phone in the hotel room because it's like, a corded phone. That was his favorite part of the whole trip, if you ask him. He was like, the phone in the room? I'm like, oh, you mean we went to a whole different state? We did a bunch of fun things, but the one thing you can tell me you like from the trip is the corded phone in the hotel room? Okay. So that was his favorite thing. So they had just like hung out in the hotel room. Like they went over. My dad was a little jealous because he's what got me started in Star Wars when I was little. So
Yeah.
he was a little sad that he missed out on meeting Hayden because I was only supposed to meet him once. And I met him and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. went back to the hotel room, changed, went back because I was like in a cosplay and I was like, I am just uncomfortable. So I went back, changed. Then was going to go back to the hotel to check on my son and just see what he was doing. He was playing with phone. But on my way back, Hayden was standing outside smoking a cigarette. And I thought I was like hallucinating because I was like, I barely ate today. I'm running on like 3 Red Bulls. And he like waved at me and he was like, hi again. And I was like, wait, what? And you remember? And I was like in a different outfit. And then I was supposed to meet, oh my gosh, I can't even remember who I was supposed to meet later on that evening, but they ended up getting sick and having to like cancel the rest of their appearances. So then I just ended up like exchanging it to meet Hayden for a third time that day. So it was so funny. And when I went up the third time, he was like, hi again, again. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love when famous people remember you. Like,
Yeah. And I was like, this is definitely was so fun, but I would love to do one of the like Vampire Diary conventions that they do. But definitely not take a child because that was a lot.
yes. I could not imagine.
Yeah, it was too much. So next month, HD does have another like novella coming out that is called Where's Molly? It takes place in this cat and mouse world. I don't want to mention anything too much about it since you haven't read book 2.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about that. I
So
cannot
it sounds
wait.
like I need to read book 2 before next month.
Yes, you do. Like, I cannot wait. I was so excited when I found out that this book was coming out. And like I said, it's the whole reason why I wanted a Kindle to make sure that I could like have it pre-ordered and downloaded so I could read it like the day it comes out because it sounds really good. It's it won't give anything away. It takes place it's about a character that we meet in book 2 pretty briefly. And I am really excited to learn about this story. And then I know at some point, I don't know when it's going to come out, but Sibby is getting her own duet. So she's working on editing book 1 right now that I've been seeing in her Facebook group. So I'm very excited to get more Sibby because I just love her so much. I think I'm a Sibby fangirl. So
Yeah,
I
that will be exciting.
yeah, I cannot wait to learn more about her. So
Yeah, because she's crazy
that's
as fuck, so.
she's crazy, and I fucking love it because she's just like she's so cute and so funny. And really, how I learned about these books was from TikTok. A creator that I follow, whose name is Hawk, was always posting about these, and she has become friends with HD, and HD says like Hawk is like her like who she envisions as Sibby now. So like Hawk does like a lot of like Sibby like videos where she's like dressed up like Sibby, and I just think it's just the cutest thing. I love it
Oh
so
my.
much. So I adore that. So I'm very excited for Where's Molly coming out next month. And to see what is coming with Sibby's story later on, whenever that comes out. I will be reading it as soon as it comes out.
Well, Megan, this has been so great, and I just want to say a big thank you for coming on to talk about this book with me. And it's so nice to virtually meet you after messaging back and forth. But before we go, please tell my listeners where they can find you at.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Ren After Dark 999. Some fun like little Star Wars reference in there. And then I have a TikTok that's the same handle. So, but I post a lot on Instagram when I'm currently reading and talking about books. And I love talking about books to anyone. So seriously, if you want someone to talk about books and dark romance, hit me up because I love to talk about it. And if you read book 2, I would love to come back and talk about book 2 too, because that book is
Yes.
a doozy. It is It's rough, but it's good.
Yes, I'll need to have you back on for book 2, and then once I read the novellas, maybe we can add on
Yes.
a little for that too, because this world
Yeah,
is
if
just
you
opening up, so.
the world is opening up, and I think you'll really enjoy, like, if you loved Sibby, you will really love Satan's Affair. People say, like, you should read it before you go into reading any of, like, Haunting Adeline, but I personally read Haunting and Hunting, and then I read Satan's Affair, so I don't really think it matters, but
Okay.
which the order you read it in, but Satan's Affair is really good. It's short, it's cute, it's just, I loved learning about Zibby and her henchmen. You get to learn more about them in
Oh,
the
I
novella.
can't wait.
It's good. It's a crazy little roller coaster that you go on from the moment it starts till it ends. You're like, okay, well, weird.
Well, as always, you can find me on Instagram at What the Smut Podcast. If you are interested in being a co-host, If you are interested in being a co-host, please DM me your name, location, and a few book titles that you want to talk about and why. Or if you're not on Insta, you can email me at wtsmutyoutalkingabout@gmail.com. Please subscribe or follow this podcast and give us a rate and a review. The higher the rating we get and the more reviews helps us get viewed by other readers that may not know about this podcast. So tell your friends, tell your book friends, just tell everyone. Maybe not your grandma. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon.